Tym Moss.
Hey, Wendy Stuart, how are you?
How am I? I feel like it's summer today after what we went through.
Right. It's what, in the 30s?
It's in the 30s and like there's not wind and the snow is finally melting. And I have to tell you, because everyone knows I say it all the time, I am a summer girl. I'm all about very little clothing and very blonde hair. And this really pushed someone like me over the edge. I think one day I had on like 5 layers. I went out, I was like the Michelin Man. I couldn't move.
Well, I'm a winter person myself, and this winter has been extreme even for me.
Okay, and Tim is from the Midwest. He is corn-fed, thick blood, a hardy lad, and it was a lot for him. But listen, I always try and make the best of anything that I possibly can. And Monday night, I have to share this with you. A lot of our listeners who are from New York go to Central Park, and there is a place called the Rambles in Central Park. Tim, I know you knew it.
Oh yeah.
Not just for the birds and wildlife, but Monday night at the Explorers Club, we had 2 people that have been tracking the 2 coyotes that we have in Central Park, Romeo and Juliet. And I saw Juliet during the pandemic, right? Because I was going into the Rambles every day to go birding, and it helped me keep my sanity. But anyway, it seems about 1.5 years ago, the other coyote came and joined her. Okay, this is an incredible freaking story for New York City. And the couple that's been tracking them, they're not even like coyote experts. They're like normal people like you and me, Tim, that decide, this is amazing. This is the urban wildlife in New York, and we have to tell their story. So they were there and they brought all kinds of footage with night cameras and everything of everything the coyotes do at night, which, besides foraging, humping each other, I guess they're just like people.
When those lights go down.
Right. When the lights go down, you never know what to expect. But they also had a relationship with the various owls that were in the park. Flacco, the one who died. And then there was another long-eared owl that passed away. So I'm telling you, it was very interesting. And I'm sharing this with everyone because I have to do stuff to raise my head right now. Right. So besides doing this show, which I love because we interview the most interesting people, I think, on the Facebook.
I agree.
But, I try and do this outside stuff that, kind of makes it interesting for me. Right. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Well, I think we're all trying to kind of raise our peaceful consciousness during these times, because a few days ago in the dark of night, the feds went into Christopher Street Park across from Stonewall and removed the pride flag.
Yes, they did.
From the National Monument.
Right.
And it was just a blatant assault on the LGBT community. And it was so disrespectful. And it was just provoking. That's all it is.
Fun. That's the thing, and people need to understand. That's why there is no reason to do anything like this. I mean, Stonewall National Monument, history, beautiful. People come here from all over the world. So it was strictly done exactly what they did in Minnesota. Let's provoke.
So I went down to a protest down there yesterday, and I'm going back for one tomorrow.
Right.
And they'll be raising the flag back up again.
Yes, they are raising it, and
we will be raising the flag back up.
Absolutely, the politicians will be there for that. So I believe that protest is starting at 7:00 for anyone.
No, I think it's 4.
4, and it ends at 7. There's 7:00. Okay,
people will be out partying all night, I'm sure.
Yeah, for anybody that wants to go there, that would be absolutely imperative, really.
And also the art project that I'm working on, Project Transcend, I think I can announce it now because I'm going to be sending out information to everybody later, so you're going to hear it first here. Yay Project Transcend is going to have a 3-month art installation at the LGBT Center on 13th Street.
Wow.
And the art is going to go up at the beginning of March, but we're going to have an official opening on Friday, March 20th.
Okay, so that's Friday, March. I'm actually writing it down. So we're announcing it
Thank
here.
you.
Friday, March 20th, probably what, 6:00?
From 6 to 9. Yep.
You
And
know, I always ask the time because I have like 2 things in one night
right.
sometimes.
So no, this is early. You can come and do this and then go to wherever else,
I
anyone
think
else.
that's great. That's absolutely great.
Yeah, but we're very excited about that. We just confirmed that last night. So yay. It's on.
Yay. We love the LGBTQ Center. They have wonderful programs there, book
Yeah.
readings and everything else like that. So speaking of wonderful things, our guest today, I am so excited to talk about this person. I've got tickets to their show. They, of course, came highly recommended to me from the amazing director, Joe Bautista, who many of you, we love Joe. Joe, of course, directed Twisted at Theater for the New City. He did Moby Dick at the La Mama. And he is the director of this new play that is called Cry of the Butterfly. I want to share with you that it is the story and memoir-ish of Nicca Ray, who is our guest today, what it was like growing up with her father, the famed director, Nicholas Ray, who was directing Rebel Without a Cause, her mother, a beautiful Hollywood dancer, how it affects a person and really results in the art that they create when they grow up. So please welcome Nicca Ray. Yay. You got enough room there?
I do. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, gorgeous. I'm so glad you have blonde hair too, because now we can like really be in a summer mood.
Yeah.
Tim has blonde hair. So welcome to the show. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
About we love Theater for the New City.
Thank you.
Crystal has done amazing work for the arts community. And I'm going to say, even in the country, there is nobody like her.
I just love what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Crystal Field runs Theater for the New City.
Yeah, she does.
Again, she's just always so open and welcoming to new works and new art, and that's what she's all about. And I absolutely adore her for that.
We love her. Tim and I both do the Lower Eastside Festival every year.
Yeah.
I always do. He's in the Johnson. We always laugh about that. And the Black Box Theater. What is it called again? You know, the one downstairs.
The Cabaret Room.
Yeah, that always pops out of my head. But a shout out to Crystal Field and Theater for the New City, and of course, Joe Bautista. This is your first play. That is really exciting. You opened February 5th.
Yes, we opened February 5th. It's my first play.
Wow.
Yeah. And we run until February 22nd.
Okay, so the 5th to the 22nd. And of course, we have information. Theater for the New City. You can go online and get tickets. I'm coming on the 19th. I'm very, very excited. I almost wish in a perfect world, I would have been able to see your play before you came on the show, but it never happens like that. And I'm just happy that I'm going to be able to see it. So the play reflects your life growing up, yours and your sisters. Am I correct?
Yes. But there's a timelessness quality to the play. It takes place on our mother's birthday, and we go to visit our mother. I haven't seen her for 4 years, and we go to visit her and find out that she's not well. I mean, she's like in a different world. She seems like she's maybe a little crazy,
like out of it, like she's been through something.
Yeah. She's hallucinating, and we find out that she's actually got terminal cancer. And what is happening is that she is calling Nicholas Ray, the love of her life, into her life. He's coming from the afterworld.
Right, because that was your father,
yes,
who had passed away in 1979.
Yeah.
Right. That's wow.
Yeah.
But she, of course, saw him and I have a lot of questions for you about that, because I have my own feelings about when people pass to the other side, and when we're getting ready, do we see them again?
I think we do.
You do?
Oh, absolutely.
I totally do. Yeah. I mean, I was the one that took care of my mom the last.
God bless you. I know what that's
you.
like. God bless you.
And whether it was like the morphine or just, I think they opened themselves up to what's
the portal.
on the other,
the other
portal.
side.
And because
and,
she would be staring off and into another world.
Wow.
You know, and I think that that's where like the impetus for this play first started.
Sure.
You know, and in the play, Nicca Ray, my father, who is the love of my mother's life, comes to bring her, guide her into the next world.
Wow.
So he's directing her final scene.
Right. Wow.
Which he was. In reality, he probably was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's so much in everything that you're saying. For people that don't know, because not everybody knows everything, Nicca Ray, of course, directed Rebel Without a Cause and so many other incredible films. He was certainly a huge player in Hollywood.
Huge.
Controversial personality. And the love of your mother's life. I feel like crying. I love that, she was, able to connect with him in the end.
Yes.
Me
too.
So the cry of the butterfly, that's kind of almost a biographical
metaphor.
Account
Absolutely.
of what you experienced with her or what she seemed to be experiencing at that time.
My mom was like a butterfly. She
beautiful.
She was beautiful.
Yeah.
She fluttered around. Yeah. She liked to bring beauty to people. She liked to make people happy.
Yeah.
You
had mentioned her birthday. I just have to ask, when was she born?
She was born in 1934 and November 17th.
So that makes her a
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Wow. Powerful.
Yeah.
She could take all of
very
this.
energetic.
Yeah. Right.
Very energetic. Yeah.
Amazing energy. So, you grew up, when did your dad was married 4 times?
Yeah.
Where was your mother
my mom was his third wife.
Third, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you were growing up, how long was he with you for?
My parents separated when I was 2.5.
Wow.
And so my mom, we were living in Madrid at the time, and my mom brought my sister and I back to Los Angeles. So I grew up in Los Angeles. My father stayed in Europe. Wow. And I didn't see him again for 10 years.
Wow.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, wow. So what did your mother do? How did your mother support you?
Single mom.
So she was a single mom, really ahead of her time. I remember being in kindergarten and I had the only mother who worked, who couldn't be there, like at PTA and all that stuff.
Was she dancing at the time?
No, she wasn't dancing. She didn't want to have anything to do with the
entertainment
film industry after she left my father. And it's the only thing she knew. She started dancing when she was 14 years old. She was discovered in a dance class in Hollywood and cast in Scaramouche.
Oh my God, that's so incredible.
And she worked nonstop until she married my dad when she was 24 years old. And so
had 2 kids.
She had 2 kids. My father didn't pay child support. So my mom went and learned how to type. And she got a job at ABC TV.
Nice.
She didn't even have a high school education, you know, and I remember her telling me that Lou Wasserman and Edie Wasserman, and Lou Wasserman, for those of you who don't know, was the agent of Hollywood. He brokered the deal bought Universal, MCA, Universal. MCA was
Hollywood history.
And he was also the agent who made it that actors were independent contractors. He got them away from the studio.
So he busted the studio system.
Exactly. So he was my dad's agent.
That was what, late 50s?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Like mid 50s.
Yeah.
And so he was my dad's agent. And when my parents separated, he and his wife, Edie, who was a socialite, wanted to take care of my mom and offered to help her. And she said, no, I don't want to.
I don't need your handout.
No, I don't want to. She said she didn't want to be one of Edie's girls. And, she didn't want to be a lady who lunched.
Right.
And so she went and she learned how to type. And
I'm amazed because I had to take typing in high school. I couldn't learn it. They covered the keys and I couldn't learn how to type. My mother made me feel like a failure.
No.
I failed typing to this day. I can do the computer, of course, but I couldn't type.
Yeah, I refused.
Your mom taught her, so
I refused
to
learn how to type.
Yes.
And then when I moved here in 1987, I was in my early 20s and I was working at Swatch, and they wanted me to learn to type. And I was like, I don't know how to type. So back then there were secretarial schools still.
Get out, right?
I remember, yeah.
Of course.
And I learned how to type.
You were able to learn it?
Yeah.
Nicca,
So I know how to type with my, not looking at the
right.
Right.
But it's so much funner typing nowadays where you don't have to do that and your fingers go all over.
Right. We're just able to do it. I'm sorry, but that was like freaking prehistoric. I never learned it. They made me take it twice, and I was academically so amazing in high school. I couldn't learn to type. Just let it go. Okay. It's not meant for everyone, but I'm impressed by you. Mm-hmm. You're an arts girl and you learned how to type.
But you're also like your mother.
I am.
Yeah. Tenacious.
Yeah, because she was obviously very determined, and she also was going to take care of her babies.
Two kids in a time when there were not a ton of single moms.
Absolutely.
She could have taken a handout. She wanted her independence. So what a great role model your mom was, really.
Yeah. She had a lot of my mom was great. She was a hard mother to have, but she was real bohemian,
right?
That's
the word they use then too. Bohemian.
She was real. I mean, she was a nudist, and she moved to a clothing optional place in Topanga Canyon when I was in my early 20s, when I was like 20, 21. And
it was hippies in Topanga Canyon.
It was hippies.
Yeah, it was all hippies then.
All hippies. When I was a kid growing up on the side of the mountain in Topanga, they had "Don't Eat Meat" spray painted on the side of the house. And yeah, it was a hippie haven. And so my mom got involved in sandstone and this other way of the sexual revolution and stuff when in the early 1970s. So I grew up with a mom who was heavily, really active in that. Yeah. And so that was hard for me to,
for a child growing up. Yeah.
To reconcile. And I was really angry at her most of the time.
Right. Was your sister also, how far apart are you guys in age?
15 months.
Oh, so you're like what we call Irish twins.
Exactly.
You're really close. Was it hard for her as well that the two of you have support with each other?
We dealt with it much differently. She was more. I rebelled against my mother, and my sister went along with my mother.
Okay, that's
and so, I was sort of the antagonist of the family, and so in The Cry of the Butterfly, I'm at that point where I've been the antagonist, and I'm coming home
after 4 years.
After 4 years, and to reconcile, but I'm still the antagonist,
right? Because that's been your role throughout,
right?
But this reconciliation, when you came home, you didn't know ahead of time that she had throat cancer.
In the play, no,
right?
No, in the play, the daughters find out
when
right then in the play they find out, and not right away.
What was the point or the incident that had you come home after 4 years?
In the play, it was 4 years of my older sister, Julie, telling me that I better come home and see Mom, that she was sick of doing all the caretaking.
So she was the one who had been doing the caretaking prior.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And so it was her birthday, and it was time to go see our mother. And so in the play, Julie drags Nicca to Arizona to see their mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So mom at that point was living by herself in Arizona.
Right.
And with the 4 years that you didn't talk to your mom, what was that like for you?
In the play?
Yeah.
In the play, it's I think conflicted. And in the play, I talk about how I was reconciling with my mother and trying to understand her and our relationship through poetry.
Wow.
So my character, I'm a poet too, but my character in the play has written her mother a poem and performs it for her, and and is kind of misunderstood.
I'm so excited to see this play now. I think it's probably great that I didn't see it ahead of time, because now you've got me on pins and needles, and I've got so many questions about, your relationship with your sister and your mother and your dad, that you didn't really know your dad.
No, I didn't really know.
Did he
dad.
At any point?
One question I have for you is, you mentioned that you went 10 years without seeing your father.
Right.
Yeah.
And those were your formative years.
Yeah,
those were the years that you were developing yourself and your personality and your vision and perspective of the world. And then this man who you don't even know comes swooping in. What was that experience like for you when you first saw him?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it was, I write about it. I wrote a memoir called Ray by Ray. It came out in 2020. And that book I spent many years working on and doing a lot of research and interviewing. I interviewed about 50 people, and I found out where he was during my childhood, and I answered all the questions that I had when I was growing up about my father. So when he came home, I was 13 years old.
I was going to say 12 or 13.
Yeah, and he came home with his drug dealer in tow.
Wow.
And he was not the father I needed nor expected him to be. And that's touched upon in The Cry of the Butterfly. We discuss, Julie and Nicca discuss what it was like to have a father like him, because our father made his masterpieces long before we were born.
Right.
So the father that we got was, unfortunately, he was, doing a lot of drugs and drinking.
Rode hard and tied up wet kind of father. Yeah. You missed the glory days.
So, but when you found out that he was going to be coming to see you for the first time,
yes,
I'm sure you had expectations.
I had no idea.
Did you imagine, oh, this is my father and he'll love me and he'll, because you the only comparison to a father would be your friends in school.
Exactly.
And their fathers.
Exactly. Like my best friend's father, I emulated. He
great guy.
He was a great guy.
Great dad.
Was a film editor, but he came home every night,
right.
Dad was missing in action, making movies, so I thought. But actually, my mom didn't tell us that he was coming home. She didn't want to tell us him not show up.
Right.
But she took us shopping. She took us shopping on Hollywood Boulevard, at the Broadway on Hollywood and Vine, for outfits, which was really unusual because my mom didn't have a whole lot of money to just buy us outfits out of the blue. And so we got to go shopping, and then she left and she said, "Don't go to sleep and put on your outfits." And we're like, okay. And then, a little while later, our father walked through the door. He was very tall. He had gray, messy hair and was wearing all black. And he had to duck underneath the doorway. And I knew right away he was my father. And I ran into his arms and gave him a big hug. I thought I was going to be saved.
Wow.
I thought I was going to be saved. He was going to take me away because I didn't there was so much that happened in our childhood that by the time he came home, I wasn't really liking my mother too much, because she had put us in a lot of dangerous situations. And
and you were very aware. Maybe your sister wasn't so aware because she was way more compliant than you.
Well, she was aware, but she just dealt with it.
She dealt with it, right? But you were like, no, this is not okay.
This is not okay.
Yeah.
I was the one
How
saying
scary
there's
for
an
a
elephant in the room, you know?
Right.
And you know, you're supposed to be like, shh, there's no elephant in this
right,
room.
Right. The emperor has no clothes on. Right. Exactly.
So you go running into your father's arms thinking he's going to save you.
Yeah.
How long did you stay from that moment? Like, your savior was standing in your doorway. You had your new outfit on.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy because daddy's home.
Yeah.
You had no idea that daddy at that point in his life was pretty messed up, right?
No idea.
Drugs and alcohol. How long did he stay for when he came back?
He stayed not that long. I don't know exactly how long. Maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month.
Right.
What happened was he asked my sister to score him coke.
Oh my God! Wow.
And so
she was like 15 months older than you. That would have made her like what? 14?
Like
15. He asked her 15-year-old.
15 or 16.
His daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she did, but she told our mom, and she kicked him out. And at that time, my father was working on a film that he had made with his students while teaching at Binghamton.
That's where I went to school.
Did you?
That's where I know his name from. Oh my God. My boyfriend was in the film department. I'm like,
in the early 70s, like 71
I graduated from there in 73.
Okay. My dad was there from 71 to 73.
He was a big celebrity there. Yes. I can't believe I just put two and two together.
That's so
like,
funny.
You know, his imperfections, and you know this, people don't see.
No.
You were the child of this person, and all his imperfections, of course, for you became very, very evident. When he was teaching there, he was like God. Yes. Ken Burns was also teaching there, another big film.
Wow.
And yeah, they had a huge film. Wow. So he was teaching there, even though he had a bad drug habit. And
yeah, he taught there for 2 years. And while he was teaching there, he made a film with his students. And so when he came back home, he was still working on this film. And so what happened, my mom kicked him out and found him in an editing suite in East Hollywood. And he moved in there, and he just, you know, and then I didn't see him again for a couple years.
And no call or anything? Nothing?
Not really, no.
And, yeah, because I know a lot of people. I'm a singer and an actor myself, and I know a lot of people in the entertainment industry. And I've seen those who are so entrenched in their work, and their focus is all about the work and about what's going on there, that their personal life or their priorities are on their work rather than on the personal. And I've seen that before, and it's so sad because it's so difficult to strike that balance, because the personal life and children require so much attention.
Right.
And it's so sad. I'm so sorry that he did not prioritize his children.
Tim, and for you too, because my husband loved me and he loved my daughter, but his work, he was very well known, famous photographer.
Okay.
He wore black all the time.
Okay.
So, he was an amazing man. And by the time you met him, Tim, he had mellowed a lot. But right. I have to tell you, when I gave birth to my daughter, they wouldn't release me unless he came to get me. And he had gotten a test shoot for Jordache jeans, a test shoot, not a shoot paying $25,000, a test shoot. And he did not come to the hospital to get me.
Wow.
And right. And that's
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Right. I'm bringing that up because I'm not defending it, but I've had to explain this to my daughter because I had a number of incidents, but Alan was true blue to us, different than your father, but genius, often creative genius, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
people
it.
that would all agree your
That's
dad was one of those people.
He was a genius.
Right. They
Yeah,
they're so overdeveloped in their brain in one
Right.
area. And you hit on it, Tim. They, he had a family, but that really didn't fit into the focus. Not
Right.
because he didn't
Right.
love you, but his
No,
work was like, that was him.
that
All
was where it
consuming.
had to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it
Yeah.
had to be.
Wow.
And it was easier. I mean, family holds you accountable. Kids
Thank
can
you.
hold
Oh,
you
yeah.
accountable.
Yeah.
And if you're moving from one film set to the next, you're not with any one person long enough to be held accountable.
No, you're not.
Mhm.
And you're in a
And you can
fantasy
be-
world.
and you can be the star.
Right.
Now I've got an odd question for you here. And again, you don't have to answer it if you don't want.
There's no odd
But-
questions on this show. Just odd
But
people.
did your relationship with your father affect your relationships now with men? Like,
Oh, wow. Well, I think, I've been in a relationship for 35 years with,
Very cool.
with
oh, wonderful.
my partner, Jesse.
Uh-huh.
And he's great. But when I was younger, I had one really bad boyfriend who unfortunately was a heroin addict.
Hmm.
And we were little punks, and he was, we were young. He was like
Yeah.
19 and I was 20, and we were really young. But talk about absentee father and absentee boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I was lucky that I was with him for 2.5 years, but after that, I didn't really repeat that pattern.
But that's
wonderful.
that's huge. You can't slough that off. Yeah. The
Because
fact
a lot of times it takes years and years and years and decades sometimes. Sometimes it can take even the entire lifetime.
it can take your
for
entire
someone
life.
to
Right.
break that pattern, because a lot of times that pattern and how you're being treated is familiar.
And that,
Oh,
and that
yeah.
feels like the right thing to you, even though it's totally wrong. You're very lucky that you
Right.
have been with your partner for 35 years. Somewhere
Yes.
along the way you flipped a switch,
Yeah.
which is not easy to do,
No.
So, and it's great because you not only landed on both feet, the work that you're creating, from the poetry to the memoirs to
This is amazing.
and it's as much as it hurts, because you had to come upon to write or to produce your play, some really painful stuff that you had to deal with.
Oh yeah.
But
Had to revisit a lot.
right, right, what that's like. It's trauma, but the fact that you can take and do that. And Tim and I strongly believe about the healing of arts. And I was talking to you about that before we did the show. You're putting it out there, and there are people that are going to be shaking their head and going, oh man, you're going to help them heal, and that's a gift.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really believe that
Mhm.
art there's a huge opportunity through
Mhm.
art to help people heal, because sometimes, like a play is a conversation, a song is a conversation, a book is a conversation that possibly someone doesn't know how to have. But
well put.
but the writer and the actors and the directors, they're having that conversation. So the person who's watching it can relate and possibly just say, well, I saw this play, and it touched on these things, and they don't really have to get into the nitty-gritty, because I got into the nitty-gritty for them. And then I just want to talk about the healing. On the opening night, my sister came, my older sister came, and we watched the play together.
Wow.
And every time she laughed, I started to giggle like I would when I was a little kid.
Two little girls.
Yeah. And I'd have
Oh wow.
That is
stifle my
really
giggling.
incredible.
And that was like, talk about like any sort of healing that might have come from.
Absolutely.
What was her reaction? What did she say to you?
She loved it. She's really proud.
Really proud.
And that is the best endorsement you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Is your sister who lived through it gave her stamp of approval. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's impressive that you are able to deal with your feelings to the degree that you are, because I don't have to tell you, you went through what we call the mix master as a kid. You've emerged on the other side X amount of years later. Why do you think at this point in your life you can put these highly personal experiences out there?
Well, I think because they happened a long time ago, and I'm a different person.
Right.
And they're really good stories.
They're good stories.
They're
really
really
good
good
stories.
stories. I mean, I've got some really good stories to tell, and you know, I can kind of remove myself in a way and investigate, and you know, just kind of investigate these relationships and find new meaning in them and understanding.
That is very, very mature, you know, that you can find new meaning in these kinds of experiences. It speaks volumes of who you are as a person, and being able, a lot of people, as you know, get stuck. We all know people that get stuck, and they're stuck in their trauma, and they can never move past it, or they can never use their trauma for something positive, you know. And especially as a writer or a playwright, you're bringing this stuff up. This is where your words are coming from.
Yeah,
it's not an easy thing to do.
No, you have to. I mean, there are things I do, so I'm not carrying it all around with me all the time.
That's great.
Can you share some of those things that you do, or do you meditate? Do you?
No, I'm not a good meditator. You know,
I'm not either, but I thought I would ask.
You know,
Tim, you meditate, right?
Can you meditate? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So what makes I can tell you what makes me a bad meditator is I can never, the thoughts fly back in. I can't.
I know. They just, I don't have the patience to just watch them float by like clouds.
Right. Me neither. Good. You're making me feel not so alone.
After like a minute, I'm like, okay, I've done it. I love adult coloring books. And
those are fabulous. That's great.
Fabulous, and they're a really great way to channel.
So I have to ask you about that, because I just recently had done this campaign of gift boxes to seniors, and one of the things in the gift box was these beautiful coloring books. And the person that booked me on the job, he was like in his late 30s, and I said, "Do you really think like people in this age group color?" Because I was internalizing it, right? He said, "Oh yeah, we've done a lot of research and we found that people." So then I went and asked all my friends, "Tim, do you color?"
I don't. I haven't, but I know I have friends that do.
You have friends that do color. Okay. I didn't know anyone that colored. So I did it from my own perspective. So now, okay, you just completely blew me out of the water.
No, they're really fun, and I put like rhinestones on them and glitter and different,
like the artist Chris Tanner.
And,
so it is really a creative process for you.
Yeah, and it doesn't involve words, so I can just kind of sit with feelings, but not be like paralyzed by the feelings, because I'm moving with the correct.
You're focusing as if creating a painting, right?
Yeah. And my partner is an artist, so you know, I can't paint. Like he's amazing, and I can't paint. So the coloring books, you know, my little. I
love this, and you made me look at it. See, this is why I love this show. You made me look at it from a totally different perspective. I'm like, who colors? Right? No, you're not. But it's a very incredible creative expression if you're embellishing it with rhinestones and glitter and things like that.
Yeah.
And you know, people say meditation is therapeutic or whatever. This is therapeutic. It makes you feel good. It is thinking it is like a form of meditation, because you are so completely focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
Right.
It focuses your mind.
I don't know. Maybe I need to revisit coloring books. Maybe
I would recommend it. I highly recommend it. Yeah. ladies and gentlemen, our incredible guest today
Yes.
is the wonderful Nicca Ray.
Yes.
And her show, The Cry of the Butterfly, is now playing at the Theater for the New City here in New York City. You can, and through February 22nd. And you can get tickets at theaterforthenewcity.net.
Right.
Now,
and if you come on the 19th, I'll be there with Evan Lawrence.
Now, you have written a few things here, and you've also got your memoirs coming up, which is called Love and Cigarettes, A Hollywood Mother-Daughter Story.
That's coming out in a month.
So
About a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
is there anything you'd like to say about that? About
this
the
focus on Betty?
Yeah, this is the Love and Cigarettes is about my relationship with my mother, and it starts when I'm 20 and goes until I'm taking care of her the last days of her life.
Wow.
I was the last one they expected to
rise to the occasion.
Yeah. And it was a most profound experience, life-changing. And you know, my mother and I did not have an easy time getting along, and we both showed up for each other and showed up during the difficulties. And we found our way to each other.
You found your way, right?
Yeah, and so that's what Love and Cigarettes is really about. And I write her letters. I wrote it after she passed away. I started writing it several years after she passed away, and I felt like it gave me a chance to tell her story, and her story needs to be told. The Cry of the Butterfly is her story, and but I write her letters in Love and Cigarettes, and it was I guess a way to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, after she was so you return, because I want to get into the caregiving thing. Any of us who've cared, you know, I had a husband who passed away from lung cancer, but any of us who've been involved in that caregiver thing, first of all, how did you end up for the last 4 years of her life being the one? And what like range of emotions did you go I went through resentment. I had a lot of resentment. I really did. And I kept thinking on the past, and, you know, if he had done things better, there would have been more money to help me take care of him. And I felt a lot was dumped on me. My sister had taken care of my mother, who had Alzheimer's. But I did feel resentment, and I was angry. And then, of course, it morphed into forgiveness. What emotions did you feel?
Well, I only showed, like, I honestly did not see my mom for about 4 years. And when I went to see her, she was starting to get sick. We didn't know that it was stage 4 cancer. And I went out to Arizona to see her, and while I was there, learned that it was stage 4 cancer. And my mom at that point weighed 82 pounds.
Oh my God.
So physically she wouldn't have been able to withstand chemo and all that stuff. And so I was with her when she decided not to pursue chemo, that she was just going to let herself go. And
that's heavy there.
I was supposed to come back. I had just started a job, and I was supposed to come back, and I was like, I don't care about my job. I'm supposed to be here.
You knew it. You were called by something greater than everybody to be there. Absolutely.
And it also gave my sister a chance not to be the caretaker, because my sister had been taking care of our mom for years, in different ways. And she'd been showing up and seeing her and visiting her, and you know, the play talks about that. But in real life, I went and I took care of her for 3 months. So, and she had throat cancer.
It's a horrible cancer.
It's brutal. And she smoked until the night before she passed. And what's my mom, like we've talked about, was a dancer, and she was a dancer through and through, and she died in a dancer's pose.
Oh, wow.
You know, like,
wow.
Yeah.
That is so incredible, the visual that you just painted with that. So this is the next play too, I think.
Well, this all comes into The Cry of the Butterfly.
Right.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really amazing. What do you think makes you so strong that you can deal with all of this? Or I'm going to phrase it another way. You don't seem to have a lot of baggage.
Oh my God, you should have known me when I was younger.
I know. I got that feeling when you had like the 19-year-old boyfriend that was on heroin.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Nicca, you know what? You survived a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you're a survivalist.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. That would have buried anybody else.
I think that's true. I think that it's true, and I think that I needed to tell these stories.
Yeah.
So I needed to get my shit together.
And you did, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something that was within you that allowed you to have your shit together, which is, it's easier said than done. When your dad passed away in 1979, did people contact you for comment or want to talk to you? Did he have children with any of the other?
Yeah, I had two half brothers. One, Tony was his first son with his wife, Jean Evans, who actually wrote for PM Magazine. And then my dad's second wife, of course, was Gloria Graham.
Right.
And they had a son named Tim. Both are passed away. And then, of course, the whole thing of Tony married Gloria.
Right.
There's that whole
the teenage
scandal.
son married Gloria Graham. That was a really, really,
Wow.
That's another book or play.
That's another play.
Yeah, right.
Joe and I actually were talking about that the other day. Just what a melodrama that would be. Right?
I could hear Joe saying that. Oh my God, that would really be.
Well, we're gonna get to these in a minute. But I see that Joe Batista had written. Nico had a talented half brother, Tony, actor and producer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe had mentioned that.
I just want to say that this Sunday after the matinee, we're doing a Q&A.
Oh, nice.
He's interested with the cast and me and Joe.
I love those.
Yeah. So I just want to plug that.
I love those. I'm sorry I didn't know that for this Sunday.
It's okay. We're doing this.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
This is your Q&A.
Thank you, Tim. I should be satiated already. Let's read some of the comments. So we have a bunch on there.
Just 1 second here.
And there is Joe Batista.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Okay. John Bittenman. Thank you.
Or John Barilla.
Barilla. I worked behind the scenes on the oh my God. Well, John, that's great. Now I'm excited. I feel like I know everybody involved with it now. Okay. And Joe Batista, hello to everyone. Joe, I'm excited to see your directing, and our wonderful friend Suze, amazing designer, always tunes in. Thanks, Suze. Michael Gonzalez. Hi, Michael. Hello, Tim and all of our friends. I love seeing people on here. This is like my favorite part. Thank you, Joe, for saying we all look great. Somebody said to me, the flat lighting of streaming is not flattering to anyone. I don't know.
Our dear friend Cecily Williams, who's a incredible singer and performer, says, "Oh, hey, I'm waiting to pick up my youngest," and tuned in. So.
Thank you, Cecily. Amazing voice on her too. I'm hoping maybe she can come to the show. I asked Evan to ask her. And there is our Joe. Nicca had a very.
He meant had a very talented half brother, Tony Ray, actor, producer. Yeah.
Well,
very talented producer he was, says Joe.
Yeah.
And a great show. This was a great
show.
Thank you, Joe.
And Rose Trentman. Amazing Rose Trentman. Hello, my dear friends. You look great. Thank you, Rose, for tuning in. May I ask what happened to Tony?
Oh, well, Tony was a producer. He produced most of Paul Mazursky's movies during the 1970s. And he was actually an actor first. He acted in soap operas and was in Shadows, John Cassavetes' Shadows. He plays the cat.
So, wow.
And then he got into, when he married Gloria, he got into producing. And
they had a big age difference.
Yeah, probably like 20
years. 20 years,
which,
I kind of
thought. But he was the executive producer of The Rose, and then you know, he left Hollywood at, I think, probably early 90s, late 80s. He left Hollywood and he moved to Maine with his wife and his new wife, and they had a daughter, and he created this whole new life for himself outside of Hollywood. And he passed away, I think maybe like 3 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
But you had a relationship with him somewhat?
Well, somewhat. My mom and Tony were close, so he was around when I was growing up. And then I didn't see him for many years. And then when I was writing Ray by Ray, I wanted to talk to him about what it was like for him to have our father as his father. And he talked to me. He agreed to be interviewed. He agreed to talk about him and Gloria, and which was the first time he ever went on tape.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
And for those of who don't know, Gloria was my dad's second wife, and she married my dad's first son when in 1960.
Oof.
And she had seduced Tony when he was a 12-year-old boy.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's just so much here.
So it was really scandalous.
Yeah.
Scandalous that they got married.
How long did they stay married for?
They were married for years.
It's such an incredible story.
And they had 2 sons. And so I didn't, you know, I saw Tony, you know, all through the time I was growing up. And then I hadn't seen him for many years, and I contacted him, and he came to New York, and, you know, put him up in a hotel, and we interviewed him. I had some help interviewing people, and we became really close.
Wow.
Yeah.
So towards the end of his life, you had I guess that, you know, I'm thinking the people seem to come and go in your life that were all connected to your dad, you know. And yet you've managed, I mean, you were able to have a relationship with Tony. That is a relationship, you know.
Yeah.
And your other half brothers, right?
Tim.
Yeah. Was there any kind of relationship?
When I was younger, I was very close to Tim.
So these were the male figures for you. That's why I'm asking this.
Oh, the male figure, but you know, like, I didn't look at them as male figures. You didn't? No, they were like my brothers. But like the male figure for me, my uncle, my mom's brother, was, when I was young, he was like the male figure. And then there was my best friend, my childhood best friend's dad, who he was a film editor.
That was the editor you talked about. Yeah.
And he did all those movies like Bad News Bears, and he ended up doing and blah, blah, blah. And but his hobby was motorcycle racing, and they got me a bike, and so on motorcycle, a little mini enduro, and
I would you on a mini motorcycle.
And would take me to the races with them on the weekends, and my best friend and I would flag at the races and stuff. So that was
very cool.
Best childhood memories, and of course, Dad was around, and I would just like, I was kind of in awe of him, and in awe of like my friend who had this dad who, you know,
who was totally showed up, as we say.
Who was there and present, and
So you had this whole Hollywood life. You live in New York now. Would you ever think about going back to Hollywood again?
I love Hollywood.
You love Hollywood.
I love Los Angeles. And if Jesse my partner wasn't a diehard East Coast.
I get the feeling he's a New York artist.
He is.
You're a California girl through and through. I love at the end of this, she's saying that. Wow.
You know, I love New York. New York City has kept me grounded.
Yeah.
And has, I think it's really important for someone like me to have a place and people who keep me grounded.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
but if you went back to California, that wouldn't happen.
It couldn't happen when I was younger.
Right. You think now because of how you've evolved as a person, how you've grown.
Yeah.
That there's a possibility. It's funny that your partner is a diehard artist New Yorker.
Yeah,
That's a certain
totally.
breed
Yeah.
of person.
Yeah.
My husband was too.
Yeah.
It is a certain breed.
It
you know.
is.
Every other word out of Alan was F-U-C-K.
Yeah.
It was part of
New
his.
York doesn't get much more New York than
It
that.
doesn't get right. It's like it's part of our
Well,
life.
Nicca Ray, I'm so happy and so
Great.
proud of you
Thank you.
because you're supposed to. You've heard the adage that write what you know, and
Yeah.
you are really diving in and writing what
Right.
you've known and what
Diving
you've
deep.
experienced, and again, it's amazing works that you're creating here. Thank you for sharing these with the world.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Oh, absolutely. I just have a quick question before we go. Like putting up something like this, because we talk to a lot of people that are producing their own shows and things. What are the next steps? You know, you finish your run at Theater for the New City. Then what happens next?
Well, I would like to see this play go off Broadway.
Yeah.
So the next steps is finding out what I need to do to make
Yeah.
that happen and doing the footwork.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I have another play that I want to write, not the one about Gloria and Tony, but another play that I want to write about my father and Alan Lomax did this radio show in 1940 called Back Where I Come From, and it featured Lead Belly and Woody Guthrie. It was for CBS Radio, and it was the first program to put black and whites on stage at the same time. Therefore, they couldn't get much advertising. So I want to loosely base a play on that, and then move it through time through my father's use and love of music and time travel up into the time that Kurt Cobain is playing in the Pines. That is MTV Unplugged. It's amazing. The Lead Belly song in the Pines.
Wow.
So that's what I want. I have a book that I'm finishing, again for Punk Hostage Press, which is Punk Hostage Press is putting out Love and Cigarettes.
By the way, I love the name.
Thank you.
It's like Punk Hostage Press.
Yeah, it's a great small press based in Los Angeles, and run by Iris Berry. And the other person's, I'm drawing a blank, and I'm so sorry. I'm drawing a blank.
It's okay. It'll come to you at 2 a.m.
I know.
You can always put it on Facebook on the comments.
Yeah.
So by the way, I remembered who it was.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have another book coming out by them by, I don't know when, probably 2027. And then while I'm finishing that, I'll start working on the Lead Belly.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I've got a lot to do.
You are a creative beacon of light, you know. But so thank you so much for sharing the stories with us today. Of course, I love that you're having a play that's running right now.
Me too.
When we've got you here.
Yes, that's wonderful.
No, thank you for having me. This has been a blast.
It's great. Well, yeah, that's what we want to hear. We're all about having a blast, right, Joe Batista? It's all about having a blast. Thank you, everyone who tuned in today. Have a wonderful rest of week. There's all kinds of things that we can do to make ourselves feel fabulous. Get out there and do them. And don't forget about pushing the energy forward to help other people and pull them along with you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.